This day in Trump, April 1st, 2020. On this day, Donald Trump extended social distancing guidelines to April 30th in response to the escalating crisis. This move had been a result of careful consultation with health experts, aiming to curb virus transmission, prevent healthcare overload, and save lives. It marked a significant turn in America's fight against COVID-19. Health officials had praised this extension as a potential measure to flatten the curve or slow down the rate of infection, but the decision had not been universally accepted. The extended social distancing resulted in the continued closure of businesses, sparking economic worries, especially for small businesses. Critics voiced concerns about delay in implementing stricter measures, arguing this might have exacerbated the crisis. They questioned if a quicker, more proactive approach could have lessened the impact. This controversy around timing sparked a dialogue about the overall pandemic management. As we grappled with the virus impact, it was essential to remember that every decision could have far-reaching, and it is our duty to hold our leaders accountable. The practice of social distancing was an important step, but it also sparked a debate about the timing and the overall management of the pandemic. In hindsight, it has become clear that the critics were right, and a quicker, more proactive approach could have lessened the impact. The economic fallout was significant, but in retrospect, the strong focus on public health measures helped in controlling the spread of the virus. The delay in implementing stricter measures did indeed exacerbate the crisis. However, the extended social distancing guidelines did play a role in curbing the virus transmission, proving true the health officials' assertions. The controversy around timing continues to fuel a dialogue about the overall pandemic management, reminding us of the importance of holding our leaders accountable. April 1st marked the enactment of the CARES Act, a monumental $2.2 trillion stimulus package designed to alleviate economic distress caused by the pandemic. President Trump's support for this bipartisan measure underscored the severity of the economic crisis. While hailed for providing immediate relief through direct payments, expanded unemployment benefits, and small business loans, debates ensued over specific provisions and their long-term impact on national debt sustainability. In the aftermath of the pandemic, fears about the increase to the debt proved true. In addition, many companies and individuals politically connected to Trump and the Republican Party have yet to pay back their loans, or had their debts forgiven altogether. Despite the introduction of the CARES Act, the economic distress continued, with reports of some businesses misusing the loans proving true, inadequate boost in consumer spending due to direct payments and increasing layoffs. What did the invocation of the Defense Production Act, or DPA, by President Trump in April 2020 mean? This was the central question we aim to explore. In essence, the DPA empowered the president to leverage private sector resources during a national applied to the COVID-19 pandemic. It escalated the production of medical supplies. The goal was to mitigate shortages and bolster national response. Effectiveness, however, was anchored on apt coordination. Concerns were raised about the government's ability to handle such a vast operation during the president's busy golfing schedule. Critics argued that the act's late deployment could have aggravated fomenting issues and hindered healthcare response. They asserted that its earlier execution might have better controlled the supply and distribution of critical medical resources. Yet it's worth noting that despite these concerns, the deployment did accelerate the production and distribution of required supplies, and it did manage to alleviate some pressures on the healthcare system. President Trump's use of the Defense Production Act on April 1, 2020 was pivotal in this crisis, though questions remained about its application and effectiveness. As we reflect these decisions, we derived important lessons about crisis management, prompt action, and effective coordination across all government levels. Furthermore, in hindsight, the Act's activation did prove to be a critical tool in ramping up domestic production of necessary equipment and supplies. How did President Trump's international relations affect the world? On April 1, 2020, Trump had deployed Navy ships near Venezuela, a move positioned as a counter-narcotics operation. This decision caused a global discussion, suggesting an increased U.S. intervention in Latin America. Met with apprehension, especially from Venezuela and its allies, it was seen as an infringement of sovereignty and an imperialistic escalation. This shift in approach could have destabilized the already volatile region. Critics argued that it was an attempt to impose pressure on Venezuela's government, using the health crisis as a diversion However, in retrospect, the presence of these naval ships did assist in curbing the narcotics trafficking in the region, but introduction of military force amplified tensions and undermined diplomatic efforts. This decision signified a shift in Trump's approach towards Latin America, indicating a preference for military intervention over diplomatic solutions. It highlighted the administration's readiness to show military strength. Even during a global health contrarily, the move also ensured the fulfillment of international obligations by the Venezuelan government. So, how President Trump's international relations decisions affect the world? If the deployment near Venezuela was any sign, then Trump's decisions caused significant shifts in U.S. involvement in Latin America, raising concerns about potential impacts. However, they also resulted in some tangible benefits, proving some of his decisions correct in hindsight. What transpired during the coronavirus briefing on April 1, 2020, you might wonder. On that fateful day, President Trump conducted yet another routine briefing, a key act that offered updates on the pandemic and the government's response. However, this briefing was not normal. Critics have pointed out that the Trump's unique communication style often muddied the clarity of the messages. His rambling remarks, pointless digressions, and contradictory information led to public confusion. These instances underscored the essence of leadership during crises and the importance of precise information. On April 1st, the public had a desperate need for clear, credible information and reassurances that the situation was under. Yet, the briefing had strayed from this ideal. Unsubstantiated, sweeping statements contradicted expert opinions, sparking debates and additional tasks for fact-checkers. Despite these criticisms, the briefing had been instrumental. It had thrown light on government strategies, kept the public informed, and underlined the pandemic's severity. Beyond delivering news, the briefing had been about leadership, effective communication, and crisis management. It aimed at fostering public calm while conveying the harsh reality of a pandemic. Though the April 1st briefing was an important tool, it also became a platform for controversy and confusion. However, in hindsight, some counterpoints have come to light. Occasionally, the president's seemingly asinine remarks contain nuggets of truth, even if misstated. His contradictory statements, while initially causing confusion, were sometimes validated later as facts emerged. In retrospect, the briefing was as much an important tool for communication as it was a stage for controversy and confusion.